Right. So, something a little bit different today. I have decided to start building my Saturnine box set. This thing has been sat around for a couple of weeks now, and I think it's about time it's actually, I actually start building it. So that's what we're going to try and do today. Maybe not all of it, but as much as we can do. So yeah, I mentioned in my last stream how I've had this thing for a little while, and I want to see it get painted. I want to actually do some hobbying with it, so that's what I'm going to try and do. Let's give it a go. I'm not sure what I'm going to start out with. Probably just some of the Space Marines, I think. So we'll have a look. In fact, maybe we'll take it out of the box first. I'm not going to need that. Got here the Centurion guy, I think. And there is a load of stuff in this box. This is full to the brim. Probably going to leave the tarantula thing till last as well. Doesn't particularly interest me, that one. Let's see. Upgrades. Disintegrator. I think that is what's it, the Saturnine Dreadnought guns, probably? Full disclosure, I did build one of these as a test, but yeah, still like 39 more to do. So let's start with that. Oh, it's already going wrong. It's only been a minute and it's already going wrong. Okay. We need instructions. Okay. Hello to the one other person joining me. I'm going to put some models together on my lunchtime. Let's go right to the Marines. Okay. So, I think the one that I trialed was Sergeant. So I think we're going to go and do the pose 1. Just double check that is the right one. 3, 4. Yep, let's go for pose 1 then. I thought I'd take a bit of a break today from working on the Golden Throne, because as much as I enjoy it, there are so many other miniatures that I have left to assemble. So I do want to get some of them just assembled and painted. What is the first piece then? 2 and 1. 2 and 1. I'm hoping not all of this stream is just me looking for the pieces I need. Okay, 2. I'm not particularly fast when it comes to putting together kits, so this might take a little bit of time. 2 and 1 chest plate. Hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream. It's a bit of a chilled one today. I'm just going to work on some Space Marines. Some Mark IIs. Okay, 3 and 4. 3. And 4. When I work on something else that isn't the throne, it feels like it's been an eternity. because I'm just so used to working, you know, like doing bits and pieces for the diorama, that when I do something like this, it feels kind of strange. Okay, let's get all the bits we need. 6 and 5. 6 and 5. I find it a little bit funny that they number all the heads, because they're pretty much all the same anyway. Just go for any. Make sure we tidy them up a bit. I think what I'll probably do with this set is try and assemble it during streams. Because much like working on the throne, it gives me a bit of motivation to do it. I'm prone to doom scrolling, I think. Can also be a bit difficult when I get back from work and I don't really want to do any hobbying, or I do, but I don't have the effort. Just make sure we cut off all the bits we need to. Alright, let's hope this ancient glue works. If not, I brought a failsafe, which is the lighter. I know this is a bit of an odd time to do a stream, but yeah, it's more for my own benefit, I think, to try and do some hobbying in the day. Okay, we're gonna have to go to plan B. Don't copy this at home. That should. Yeah, there we go. I think once I've assembled these, I want to go for a metallic colour. I've been seeing a lot of schemes on Instagram that people have been doing for their Horus Heresy miniatures, and I quite like the metallic colour schemes that people have. I just don't particularly know what legion I'm going to go for yet. I was thinking of trying an ultramarine scheme, but in a metallic instead of just flat blue. So we might give that a try. Again, I know this is just going to be a bit of a chilled stream. It's probably going to be me talking to myself most of the time. But yeah, you know, if I get something done, it's a bonus. Don't need to cut that bit off. Right. Used to hate gluing miniatures together, but now it's quite cathartic. Probably still prefer it to painting though. I'm just going to start off with the Space Marines so I get back into the flow of building things properly. So I think once I've done a few Space Marines, I'm probably going to start working on the Praetors, or the Praetor and the Saturnine Terminators even. We'll work our way up to a right. Needs a gun. 7. You should have the little strap on it. Is this going to be one of those pieces that I can't find because I'm useless? Oh, I think I see. Is it because he's a sergeant? Oh, found it. The last bit that I look at. That sounds about right. I feel like the quicker you get down to the last bits of the sprue, the quicker that you build the models. There's less pieces to look for. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting texts because I forgot to put myself on Do Not Disturb. If you've seen any of the other streams, you'll know just how professional this is. I reckon even if it's just 5 that I build today, I'll be happy. Let's take some off. When it comes to painting, I keep telling myself that I'm going to try not to do every detail on the model so I can actually get more than one done, but that never seems to happen. So I hope that when I've done a few of these, I can actually just, well, speed paint them, but maybe not pick out every detail. I know this isn't exactly going to do much to dent the backlog that I have, but at least it'll be something out of the way. I still managed to not follow the instructions for that bit, which is stupid. It worked, but I stuck the legs together before sticking them to the torso. And you're supposed to stick them to the torso one at a time. Right, we won't do that with the next one. Let's get some arms on. cut out, didn't I? Got the memory of a goldfish. Do the other arm first. We also need some shoulder pads. I was toying with the idea, I got a pack of Forge World heads somewhere in my studio, and I was toying with the idea of making some of these guys a bit more unique. But then it's going to be more details for me to add. And I'm thinking that if I keep most of these guys with the helmets on, I can just paint them up quickly instead of picking out skin tones. Okay, let's get 2 of these. So they don't fly across the room. It's funny, I think I prefer these to the first Age of Darkness box set. I think Mark IIs are cooler than Mark V. And that is also another box set that is sat half finished. Might never get finished, that one. The tanks were cool in it though. I think that was the first thing I did assemble with that, but then I got a bit bored of the Marines. I'm just going to power through all of these Marines. They're probably going to be the most difficult part in terms of slogging my way through it. It does slightly feel like these are easier to put together than the last ones, but that might just be me. He says as he's fiddling around with the gun. There we go. There we go. And while that dries, I'll probably start cutting away another one. Different poses. 11A. Pose 2. Okay, let's try that. 10 and 11. Where's 11? There we go. Wouldn't usually be hobbying in the middle of the day, but my plans for the day changed pretty drastically, so I thought I'd kill some time. See me do my concentration face all over again. Probably a worse one than my painting face. How long do you think it's going to take before I'm sick of Mark IIs? My money's on 10. Okay. Right, let's put some shoulder pads on you. In fact, I might glue you to the base first. Okay, 12 and 13. 12 and 13. So yeah, as of yet I'm still undecided on how I'm going to paint these. Leaning towards ultramarines, but it could go another way. I feel like every time I see a different scheme or a different legion, I feel like that's the way I want to paint it. Indecisive. Decide on a scheme eventually. It might also be dictated by what transfers I have, because I don't want to buy a transfer sheet. Let's just check we're doing this right, not riffing. Yeah, 12, 13. Hello guys, welcome to a bit of a chilled stream where I'm not actually working on the throne. I'm just addressing my backlog, a very large pile of shame. What we're going to try and do is get at least 10 Space Marines done today. And yeah. It's looking alright so far. Try not to get any sticky paint, well, sticky glue fingers on it. Another scheme that I was thinking of would be Iron Warriors, just because I can dry brush it and do them really quickly. Plus I got all the transfers for that in the box, so I don't have to go and buy a sheet. They do look cool though, don't they? Mark IIs. I used to prefer the Mark III Marines, but then Games Workshop changed the way they looked. They kind of updated them, and I feel like they made them a bit worse. They're not horrible by any means, but I feel like the initial incarnation of Mark III was really good. They also rounded off the bottom of the boots for some reason. So that was a weird design choice. Good, we nearly got one ready. I also don't miss cutting off the Mark III backpacks. I remember assembling a few of them, and they had that little bit you had to clip off right in the middle, and it made it very difficult. These ones are a hell of a lot easier. There once was a time I didn't tidy any of my miniatures up with a knife. I look back at some of the paint jobs that I used to give them, and you can see all the little bits where there was, well, still is, flash. Couldn't be dealing with that now. Go. We very nearly have our first. Very nearly. Be good, because if I can get a few of these done, I can take them out and undercoat them straight away, because the weather is actually permitting today. Then we'll take the airbrush to them. Go. I'm not sure how long this whole set is going to take for me to build, but it's probably not going to happen in the one stream. I'm also a little bit nervous about putting together the Saturnine Dreadnought, because I don't think I've put a Dreadnought together full stop yet. I don't want it to have that gormy looking pose where it's just static. I want it to be have a bit of a personality. Okay, we have our first. Not sure how well the camera's going to pick that up as usual, but yeah, we have our first. Let's try and get some more. As time has progressed, it does feel like Games Workshop has made these kits a little bit easier to build. I remember struggling a bit when I first started the hobby back as a kid. Now it feels a bit more simple. I'm sure I'll still manage to get it wrong at times, but hey, well. Okay, what does he need? He needs 14, 15, 16. I know some people would argue that you can't really do much with the poses, but I think you can get sort of what's it, like additional melee kits and stuff to make them a bit more interesting if you get tired of the poses. 15, 16. Not on there. 15. Hey Neves, how's it going? Where's that other one gone now? It's like I said, I got the memory of a goldfish. I'll look at this and I'll be like, where's it gone? not going to be on this one, is it? Can't be. 14. There we go. I don't know why that took so long. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. I'm building some Space Marines. I'm struggling to build some Space Marines. Let's glue this one to the base. We've got one down so far. I just want to get at least 10, I'd say. Just because then it feels like a bit of an achievement. And it'd be nice to start painting them. I don't know how many of you guys still have this box set if you picked it up. I feel like I just end up collecting sets and letting them gather dust. It's hard to not feel guilty when I'm working on a big project. And then when I start doing something else, like picking up some of these guys, part of me does feel a little bit guilty. But then I think sometimes you've got to spice it up a little bit and diversify, otherwise you get bored. And I don't think that's good. You don't want to be bored of the hobby you enjoy. Okay, 16. Go. At some stage, I'd like to have a whole painted army. I've been in this hobby for quite a while now, and I think the only time I've ever had an army that was painted was when I was 10 or 11. So I would like to have, you know, I feel like my painting's come a long way since I was a kid. So I'd like to have a painted army, even if I'm not going to play. Maybe a painted army of custodies for the throne room. Right, shoulder pads. I'd like to tell myself I'm not going to buy anything else, but I don't think that's going to happen. Sometimes I look at my pile of shame and I think, I'm not going to buy anything for a while. I'm going to leave it. And then I end up buying something. Make some excuse in my head. Oh yeah, you need it, it's so low. Which sometimes is the case, I think. But most of it, it's just a justification, really. Yeah, I think Neves, that seems to be the issue with a lot of people in this hobby. Is we end up just accumulating a lot of the stuff and not building it and painting it. I don't know why. I think maybe there's the FOMO aspect of it. I mean, I like having the stuff. You know, I like having piles of Warhammer around me, but I would like it even more if I could assemble it and paint it and stick it on my shelf. Arms are a wee bit fiddly. Nice point on it down. I'm sure the more of these I do, the better I'll get at doing them, but it's a bit of a slow start so far. Okay, while that dries, I will probably cut the pieces for the next one. Pose 3, 1819. Pose 3, 1819. I do get slightly worried because I've seen some of the stuff that's coming out from Games Workshop. It's like some of the Ultramarine stuff for 40k, and it does worry me because I don't know, I could end up getting it. Definitely for that Victrix banner alone. It's very cool. I feel like Xenos players aren't really getting that much at the moment. I know that Space Marines are the poster boys, but there's so many. Even the next Black Library miniature is a Space Marine. I'm not sure there'll be a day where I get everything done. You know, a couple of years ago, I did spend a fair bit of time just assembling a bunch of kits that I've had, you know, that I had kicking around. But even though I got quite a few done, now they're just sat unpainted. Got a little plastic box full of them. So even though I get things assembled sometimes, I don't get them to a stage of completion where they're painted. Let's go for another arm. Recently got my hands on an airbrush, and I feel like that's gonna make this job a whole lot easier. I used to do everything just with a normal paintbrush, like, you know, not the initial undercoat, but I would do my base coat with a brush and well, just everything with the brush. But now I've got a airbrush. It makes things a lot quicker. It's cleaner too. But really good when you have like a ton of Marines to do. It's definitely going to speed things up. Right, gun. As a kid, I never used to open the windows while using this glue. And I remember at the time getting some pretty bad headaches. Okay. So we nearly got 2 now. Very nearly. Yep, there we go. Okie dokie. Let's do another bit on pose 3 while that's drying. 20 and 21. Definitely going to be proficient at this by the time we get to the end of the box. Though I'll never want to assemble another Mark II ever again. Is that 21? 20. I'm not sure if it's more or less monotonous than painting skulls. During the last 2 streams I've done, mainly been painting skulls on the bottom of the throne. It's a very time-consuming job. It does get monotonous. I'm not sure whether this is any easier. Let's see, okay. I think it's going to be rewarding when they're done though. That's something. Jim and Ham Productions, perfect timing, midnight. Glad to finally be here. Missed the other 2. Well, welcome to your first live stream, Jim and Ham. We're not actually working on the throne today, but because my plans sort of changed last minute, I thought I would build some Space Marines and address my backlog of minis. It's just going to be a chilled few hours of building, really. Still happy to talk about any throne-related stuff, though. I know people like throwing around ideas for what I should put in it. In fact, if you guys want to have a look, I've kept it. Just you. I have. So I've done the skulls on both sides. And I think maybe Sunday, what I'm going to do is, I probably won't do it on stream, I'll probably do it before a stream in the evening, but I'm going to use some contrast and just go over the skulls, and then during the stream on Sunday we can add some colour, because I am tired of using more gas bone. I have painted too many skulls, I need a break. This is also doubling up as a bit of a break as well. I think it's 40 in this box as well. I got to assemble 40 Space Marines. And the tarantula thing. I'm sure it's probably not even called a tarantula, but yeah, I got to do that too. Although I don't feel like I'm going to find that kit interesting. It doesn't really speak to me. Take this guy and put some shoulder pads on him. So I've said before that these streams are basically for me to get stuff done, because I feel like it gives me a little bit of encouragement instead of just looking at stuff on my phone for hours. And I'm prone to that. Sometimes I'll take my phone to bed and I will just stare at it, and then 4 hours are gone. And I don't think that's a way to be spending your time. It's productive. You go to bed feeling guilty because you've achieved nothing and you've just wasted 6 hours scrolling. I'm gonna sound like a bit of an old man, but it does make me wonder what life would be like if there wasn't constant access to like 1 minute videos. I wonder if more people would be reading, or painting, or drawing, or working on their hobbies. And that looks pretty good. Let's put some arms on number 3, 22 and 23. Jim and Ham, oh, very nice throne for my skulls. I just use a white base and then skeleton horde contrast, maybe some pallid witch flesh for the highlights. Yeah, so Jim, essentially I did do that with a couple of skulls that I've done before, But for this one, because I've undercoated the throne gold, I did sort of toy with the idea of using masking putty and then spraying all the skulls white and then skeleton horde. But what I have had to do, because that was too time consuming, is I painted them all a bone colour, and I've tested Morghast bone on it, so it does look quite good. And then what I'll do is similar to what you're saying, where I will pick out the highlights with like pallid witch flesh or some similar colour, because the throne's going to have a load of detail on it anyway. I'm going to make sure that it's it's done properly. So there's going to be highlights and edge highlights and all that kind of stuff. And what two was I looking for again now? 22 and 23, that was it. 22 and 23. Still fairly new to the whole streaming game, but it is quite enjoyable when you're just otherwise going to be sat, doing your hobby on your own, which I know some people might prefer, which is absolutely fair. But it's kind of nice just to hang out, really. I've mentioned on both streams now, I think, that not really any of my friends, bar one, is into this sort of stuff, is into Warhammer. So I don't really have that many people to talk to about what I'm doing. So yeah, these streams work for that. Okay, let's get a base. I know it's a bit of a weird time. I usually do the streams in the evening when most people are available. But my plans changed today, so I figured I'd just do something productive and give myself a break from that. I've also got my old diorama hiding behind me as well. And that was time consuming, or I thought that was time consuming back when I was working on it. And the new project, how many tiles does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has 10 times the amount of Zone Mortalis tiles as that build, so that gives you an idea of just how big it is. Okay, head and backpack. I also put an example, I think there's 2 videos over on my Instagram which have a Space Marine for scale on the diorama too. So it really gives you an idea of how big it is. Backpack. What? Go ahead. I've also got a little bit better at setting up my streams now, which is something that I was worried about for the longest time. So I tried last year, I think I'd done 2 streams on my phone and they were bad. So now I've set up the camera, I have got the software for it, and I can do them properly. So I've noticed they still have this little fiddly bit on the backpacks. They had a similar thing with the old Mark IIIs and Mark IVs, where you'd have 2 little rings on the top of the backpack, and when you had to clip it from the sprue, it was really fiddly at the top. So you had to get the hobby knife right in there. And sometimes, or at least I would, take chunks out of the backpack, which is a little bit annoying. one is a little bit annoying too. I know they're not going to be perfect. I'm not too worried when it comes to building that they're 100% perfect, but I don't want it to be noticeable, you know. Are you just doing the Space Marines, or are you going to start any Saturnine units? I think what I mentioned at the beginning of the stream is, because I don't usually build models like this, I'm kind of used to just kit bashing stuff for the throne room, because it's been such a long time. Basically, I'm gonna warm up by assembling some Space Marines and then build my way up to the Saturnine Terminators, because they're the bit that I'm probably the most interested in, but I want to make sure that my assembling skills are back on track, basically. I don't want to start building them and make a pig's ear of it. So we're going to start with these. We've already got one, and the thing is, not to toot my own horn, but he's come out alright, you know. There's no glaring faults that I can see. So hopefully, when it comes to building the Saturnine Terminators, that'll be fairly straightforward. I'm aware there's a bit of a mistake too. I don't know if any of you guys who have this set are aware, but on the instruction manual, apparently, at one point where you're building the Terminators, it suggests that you stick the shoulder pads higher up than they're supposed to be. I've seen that someone pointed that out on Reddit, I think. There we go, that's 2. Not too bad. How long have we been? Can't tell how long I've been on, but yeah, slowly but surely, much like the throne, we are getting there. What do we need for this now? A head and a gun, which is 24. I think my absolute favourite part of hobbying is doing the bases for things. When I was younger, I used to spend a lot of time making sure that the bases looked good. I like to have that crisp black or brown line around the bottom. Put these on. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Jim and Ham, same. I'm loving the Saturnines. I've mainly focused on the AdMech and Sisters. Sorry, I can't even read. Same, I'm loving the Saturnines. I've mainly focused on AdMech and Sisters, with only a Brutalis Dreadnought for Space Marines. Well, they must be quite fiddly, because Space Marines are pretty bulky, and from the models that I've seen from like Sisters of Battle and AdMech, what are they like to put together? Because I feel like my sausage fingers would probably make a fair few mistakes. They're cool models though, it's a good choice. My method for this is, once something's gluing, I'll start the next one, so I kind of got a bit of a factory line going, which is useful. I'm going to get these guys to the next stage. So let's move on to pose 4, 26, 27. I thought it'd be a good idea to stream today, because for the past couple of days it's been really grey and rainy, and I thought I'll do some streaming today because nothing else is happening. And I'm looking outside now, and the sun is shining. Do I regret my decision? But at least I'm getting something done, so there is that. Okay, what's the other bit I need? 27. 37. What does 27 look like as a back plate? So it is going to be on here. Still nice to have a bit of a chilled stream in the day. Where it's been getting darker, I've been used to working in, under artificial light. It's quite nice to have a little bit of daylight coming through. I've noticed that sometimes I'm a bit lazy when it comes to hobbying. Not just in terms of putting things together, but also I haven't changed the blade on this knife for a very long time, and he's starting to get quite blunt. Jim, most kits are pretty good, only the Zephyrim, Seraphim and part of the Call has been annoying so far, just because of how you build them. I've built most kits now. I can imagine that, to be fair, Jim. I can certainly see it with the Belisarius model for sure. It is a very cool model, but he does look like he has lots of fiddly bits. They do use a lot of pieces though. That makes sense. That does make sense. Luckily enough, when it comes to tech priests and stuff, I've got one for the throne room, but I didn't have to build it. A lovely chap called Nerbster on Instagram built me one, and it is quite fiddly. He's done it in little sections as well, so I can paint it and then put it together. So I can dodge that bullet. Like, I don't have to go and buy a Belisarius Call kit and kit bash my own, because I've got a phenomenal one waiting to be painted. I should get him out on stream sometime, I think, because he is a very cool model. Again, it's one that I haven't painted because I'm sort of biding my time, trying to improve my painting skills, so when it does come to painting it, I can make a half-decent job of it. It's nice to have 5 of you joining me for some hobby time. Is anyone else working on anything at the moment, or do you just want to see how many Space Marines a guy can build in a few hours? It's probably not going to be that many, but I would like us to get to 10. Don't know what we're looking like at the moment in terms of Space Marines per minute. Probably not many, since we've only built 2. Looking forward to the point that I can chuck this box away too. It takes up a lot of space. Jim, one of the Seraphim in particular, has its legs held together in several pieces that only touch at certain angles, so yeah, annoying. Yeah, that makes sense. I know I've had that with a few models, and for some reason, when I am confronted by something like that, my brain struggles to work it out, even with the instruction manual there. It's like getting the angle right so things sit together. Always feels like I'm stupid when that happens. Okay, let's just cut a little bit off here. I'm still enjoying building these though, it's quite nice. On Sunday, we are going to go back to doing a little bit of throne streaming again. So if Space Marines aren't particularly for you, and you're someone who's here for throne related content, then Sunday is going to be the day. I'm encountering a fiddly bit. There we go. Just gotta get those arms in the right place. The plastic glue is always quite forgiving, which I really like. Sometimes when I'm building stuff with the super glue, once it's on and you're not getting it off. There we go. Using the glue also reactivates the other glued part, so it falls apart or melts. Yeah, it does get to that stage sometimes where you just have caked on melted plastic. But I think sometimes you can cover it up with a paint job. Or purity seals is what I used to do if it was anything Imperium based. If I make a mistake, boom, purity seal on it. One of the things that working on something else has done for me is it gives me a bit of time to think about the diorama project. So it's been quite useful because I have had a little think about how I want to do the tiles for the top of the pyramid, because lower down on the board I ended up painting some of these statues in a marble colour, and I think what I'm going to do is where the throne sits at the top of the diorama, I think I'm going to do probably, what is it now, 8 squares I think. Either side I'm going to do the same marble effect and then use the Custodes transfers on top of them. I think that's going to look pretty good. So that's what I'm aiming for at the moment. Right, we're missing a leg. What do we need? 28 and 29, a 2-piece leg. 28. 28, 29. There we go. So the one Marine that I assembled from this kit as a little tester a couple of weeks ago, I gave him an ultramarine, a metallic ultramarine sort of paint job. It was a bit of an experiment. I ended up base coating the model in bolt gun. Then I think I dry brushed a few lighter metallics on top of it and then airbrushed contrast through, and it looked pretty good. I wasn't entirely confident that it was going to look good, but the darker contrast, or the darker blue contrast, has come out quite well. Like, you can still see the metallics. So I might follow that scheme and paint these Marines that way. It's interesting to think that I don't actually see that much about Saturnine online now, and something I'm starting to notice is once something is out, the hype goes quite quickly, because I don't really see many people posting about Saturnine, well, not recently at least. Back near its launch I did see some really cool stuff. Two-piece leg. That was fairly painless. So I'll start on number 4, I think, while that one's drying too. 34 and 35. See, it should hypothetically start getting more easy now because there's not many parts left on this sprue. Iron Warriors or Iron Hands? Iron Warriors was a potential choice for sure, just because of the transfers that come with the box. And I do like the scheme for them, so there is that too. But I've always been a bit of an Ultramarine fan. I know that's basic as you can get, but yeah, I kind of want to take that scheme and do something a little bit different with it, and I feel like a metallic paint job would be, you know, different enough, basically. I'm also thinking not gold on the pauldrons. I'm thinking of using, what do they call it? Is it Runelord brass, possibly, as a trim lining for it? It's quite a cool colour. And since these are Heresy Marines, I don't need I don't need them to look exactly like Ultramarines. It doesn't need to be the matte blue and gold scheme. I can experiment a little bit. Quite nice that these kits are relatively painless. Well, I say these kits, I mean this kit because it's Space Marines. We'll see how we get on with the Saturnine Terminators. So body for number 4. Okay, head, shoulder pads and backpack again. High octane stuff. Yeah, these fiddly bits. As I said, I know as a whole the kit is very easy to put together, but like I mentioned, these little bits that stick out of the backpack either side, there's like, I don't know, just in between the wire and the top of the vents is a bit of a pain in the ass, but aside from that, everything else is good. I like salamanders for green and fire. Space wolves seem cool too. I've got an Alpha Legion and Dreadio Dreadnought. Well, those are some cool legions. I am also a big fan of Alpha Legion. I like the lighter metallic blue that they have. But again, one of the reasons that I haven't ended up, or probably won't end up doing that Legion is the transfer sheet. I just don't want to spend any more money at the moment. Most of the money that I get from social stuff goes straight towards the throne because I still got loads of bits that I need. We still got to finish the third wall section for that, so again, it kind of plays into that guilt. Like when I'm not spending money on bits that I need for the throne, or when I'm not working on the throne, sometimes I feel a little bit guilty. I think Iron Hands are my least favourite, maybe because they don't go far enough into machinery like the AdMech. Seems half-assed. It does a little bit. I've definitely seen some models or people's interpretation of Iron Hands that have been very cool though. I've seen some really techie looking ones. If I was gonna say which Legion I don't like the most, it would be a bit of a hard choice for me. Because I don't know, I can't think of one off the top of my head that I really dislike. Did I need another? You can see the cogs turning when I'm looking at this sprue. But yeah, we're getting our first near empty sprue, so we're chipping away at it. I think what I'll do next time as well, during our next stream, is I'm going to bring up my test marine. Because obviously here, I don't work in the studio because the internet isn't very good where I build the Golden Throne, so I work inside the house. But yeah, what I'm going to do is bring up the test marine so I can show you guys what it looks like and what I am aiming for. Let's get some shoulder pads on. Hey Chris, how's it going? Come to join us as we build some Space Marines. I know that this isn't the usual time that we stream. It's a bit of an impromptu one, but it's good to see a regular face. Metaphorically, I can't see you obviously. Okay, let's just get that on a sec. What are we making? Greetings from Belgium. So Chris, we're taking a little bit of a break today from working on Mr. Throne, and we are working on some Saturnine Space Marines. During the second stream, I kind of mentioned how I had this bad boy gathering dust in the studio. So because my plans changed today, I thought I would just build some Space Marines and hang out for a bit. It's mainly been pretty chill, just talking to Jim. Sorry, Jim. I had to look at my phone there. My mind went blank. But yeah, just hanging out basically, doing some hobbying, seeing how many we can build. The aim is 10, and so far we have 2, nearly 3. So still a little way off yet. What have you said there, Jim? He's taking a break. Yeah, there we go. You probably summarised it a lot quicker than me, Jim. Trying to get better at the old multitasking I am. But yeah, just chilling. Just chilling and doing some hobbying. Hobbying with company. Yeah, and we are getting there. How are you doing today, Chris? How is everything your end? Alright, I'm going to let him dry, I think, and I'm going to start working on number 4 again. Also, what we are going to do, Chris, is on Sunday evening, we are going to do another stream, and we're going to be back working on the throne again. But what I'm going to do is on Sunday morning, I'm going to coat all the bones that I've been painting in Skeleton Horde, and then when we get to the stream, I can start painting some different colours. Because I mentioned that I am getting bored of painting bone colours, so I think I'm going to do that off camera, and then when we start the stream at like 7:30, I'll paint some other colours and we can talk about what's going on, basically. Minor Imperial Fist, Rogel Dawn, just need to paint more tanks, lol. That's a good choice. It's a good choice. If I didn't dislike painting yellow so much, it probably would be a potential chapter. But I think we're leaning towards Smurfs. Some basic Smurfs. Okay, let's get another one down because this guy just needs his backpack. And then that's 3. They're cool looking models though. I'm happy with how they are turning out. I know they're not perfect focus in this camera, but yeah, they're cool models. I think when this set came out, it was the first time in a long time that I was quite looking forward to something coming out. It's got to be the Saturnine Terminators that done that, because I think they look pretty cool. Not a big fan of the basketball launchers that they have on them, pointing off screen. Not a big fan of the bombards, because it looks like someone that would launch a basketball. But other than that, aesthetically I think they're pretty cool. I like the redesign. Okay, what do we need? So, going back to pose 4. We need 30, 31. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Do you know what's quite surprising is I'm managing to do this live stream, and I haven't messed up yet. I haven't stuck anything that's not meant to be there. So each marine is built as it's supposed to be. I haven't glued anything the wrong way, which is surprising. I was kind of half expecting to make a mistake. Eventually I'd like to start running these streams in my studio, because then at least we can have a bit more of an interesting background. We can have the diorama, and instead of bringing pieces into the house to work on, you guys can see it kind of being worked on where it lives. Just need to figure out how to run a cable down to the studio and have a good connection as well. I built a big Necromunda factory. It's on one of my shorts, I think, on my channel. Well, Chris, I will take a note and or make a note and then take a look is what I meant to say. I do enjoy anything Necromunda, and I think I may have mentioned before how once I get this project done, I would like to work on something Necromunda related. What I'll do, Chris, is I will take a screenshot to help me remember. And I'll take a look after the stream. Something I can show you, I don't know if, I can't remember if you were here for the first stream, Chris, but I got my hands on one of these. I still need a couple more, but finding them for a reasonable price is a different problem. But what I'd like to do is have another board at some point and just kind of make a bit of a Hive City board. So I'm already queuing up a second project, even though we're not done with the first one. Double parking project. Jim, I think they're armoured enough so the Saturnines work, but the Acastus Knight, I forget, Asterius? Doesn't for me. It looks like a toddler with big sticks. Love the Porphyrin though. Yeah, I'm not sure what I make of that one, to be fair, because he's the lankier knight, isn't he? He's the kind of lanky one. I don't mind the 40k ones. I think the 40k ones are quite cool. And it's nice to see bigger kits coming out in plastic too. Maybe we'll get that Thunderhawk. Oh yeah, you painted them. See, I don't know how or in what sort of style I want to paint this yet. It's got so many details on it, and I don't know whether I want to like pick out as many of the details as possible, or whether I want to kind of make it look a bit more grimdark and add loads of pigment powders and stuff like that. But I am chuffed with it. I do think it's really cool. It's something I missed out on back in the day. So yeah, just kind of reminiscing. I bought something for nostalgia purposes and potential project purposes. Okay, let's get base. Not getting too distracted, which is good. Usually me distracting myself. I think that's one of the benefits to having you guys here, is because I look at the chat on my phone, I'm not tempted to drop everything and just scroll. Got to keep my focus. Okay, so this is the only set of legs on here. This must be the set of legs for the last pose. Something else that I quite like is we've only recently started doing these streams, but there's a few of you who tune in regularly now, which is really cool. So it's I was quite surprised, to be fair, actually. It's yeah, it's nice to have you guys with me, basically. I'm rambling. I can't say we'll probably do too many daytime streams in future. You know, this one just seems to have happened because, again, plans change. But I think what we're going to do is probably keep it to the PM in BST for the remainder of BST. most of the time I'm doing hobbying after work. And judging by it, I think it works a bit better for a few of you guys as well, so. But the main thing is that we will have achieved something today. I will have actually got some marines completed. Well, assembly at least. Make sure I get all of the flash bits off. There we go. Hey, Marcin. I realized after our last stream that I think I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Marcen? Marcen? So my apologies. But welcome to a quiet stream. We're just building some Space Marines and taking a break from Golden Throne building. Marcin. Okay, I'm gonna try not to revert back to my old ways. But yeah, hello again. Thanks for joining us. Our aim today is to get at least 10 of these done, just because then I feel like we've made a dent in the box set. And if I get tired of painting and building, not painting, but building them, we can start painting them. So yeah, options. Here's Chris. I am 58 years old, been in 40k since the beginning, been out when my kids were born, 10 years, but started again 8 years ago. I think, Chris, quite a few people have done a similar thing. You know, like Warhammer seems to be that kind of hobby that never really goes away. You always kind of, you can put it down and then pick it back up later. It was a similar thing for me too. I dropped the hobby when I was probably 12, I think, and got back into it 2018 or 2019, I think. So it's always, it never really goes away, does it? And I think once you start looking at miniatures again after however much time away from the hobby, it's just a slippery slope from there, and you end up buying one, and then before you know it, you have a pile of grey. Or if you're quick enough, a pile of painted minis. Much better than painting skulls all day. Well, I think that I was kind of entitled to a little break because the project is very all-encompassing. So when I have hobby time, most of it is spent working on that project. And sometimes when I look at all my other miniatures, I feel like, you know, I want to paint one of them or build something different and just, you know, for a couple of hours work on something that's not a big gold slab. So that's what we're doing. We'll be back working on the throne before you know it. Sunday is the aim for the next stream. So, yeah. What gun do we need for... Which one is this? Who's number 4? We need 32. 32. You working on anything this evening, Marcin? Any hobbying? It's not the evening yet, it's the afternoon, but you know. What do we feel about drilling holes in the end of the bolters? Is that a must? Is that something I've got to do? I've got the pin vise for it. Still at work. Ooh, I feel for you, Marson. The only reason I'm not at work today is because my plans just happened to change. So usually I would be on the grind right now, but instead we're building Space Marines at 2:30. I'm not going to complain at any excuse to do some hobbying though, so I'll take that win. Go. What we might be able to do also is dedicate different streams to different projects, depending on how interesting you guys find working on Saturnine, basically. Because if you want to see what I come up with for these guys and how I paint them, we can definitely organise that being a stream every now and then. Let's just fiddle with this arm. There we go. Very forgiving. I do it sometimes, it depends on how lazy I am at the moment. I think we can relate to that. I think we can definitely relate to that. What do we need now? We need another head. Sometimes I've got to give myself that extra kick in the kick up the ass to get stuff done. But we get there most of the time. I mean, certainly got these streams going, which I was hesitant about for a long time. But now we're doing it. This box set contain only Space Marines or any other model. These, Marson, are just Space Marines. So there's like 40, I think, 40 of the run-of-the-mill Space Marines. And then you've got the big Saturnine Terminators, Dreadnought. You've also got the Centurion, I think he's called. And he's pretty cool too. So yeah, there's lots of different models, but they are all Space Marines. So if you're not a Space Marine fanboy, it's not going to be the kit for you. I am a Space Marine fanboy. Though I like the Guard too. Or Astra Militarum, as it's called now. Jim, I bought Space Marine 2, but I can barely play it. I need a new PC. Oh, it's a good game, Jim. I won't spoil anything for you, obviously, but yeah, I would recommend if you need parts for your PC to get it going, to install what you need, because it is fun. Unless you have a console as well, it's pretty good on consoles. Played it twice. I play SM2 on PS5. Yeah, it's it's on most consoles now. I think you can probably get it on the generation before. I think. But yeah, I got it on Xbox, so that's where I play it. I jumped on the other day actually for a couple of PvPs. I still think it needs more maps. It's a good game. Story is 10 out of 10. But when it comes to the map side of things, there's about 4 maps, I think, which doesn't seem like enough maps. You know, I know that PvP is not the main element of the game. It's not the main reason anyone plays it. But I still want a few more maps because I do enjoy playing PvP. I actually added, I won't give you the context for it obviously, so there's no spoilers for the game, but there are little Mark III busts in one of the levels of the game, and I copied a few of them for the throne room. Again, still undecided on how I'm going to paint them, but I copied how they looked. I thought it was a cool little, my personal little Easter egg to Space Marine 2. Fairly easy to build as well with the old Mark III kits. Did I say Mark II or Mark III? They're supposed to be Mark III basically in the game, not Mark II. These are Mark II. Jim, only PC, and I have played the original, but this PC is over a decade old and was only decent at the time. I think that's just technology, isn't it, Jim? Like, something new comes out so quickly that whatever you've had becomes not necessarily obsolete, but you know, it's not the fastest or the newest thing anymore. Definitely happens with phones a lot. It was only a couple of weeks ago basically that I got a new iPhone, which is 16, and I think they've recently said this week that there's 17, so before you know it you've got the old model. Not that I care about having the newest thing all the time, I don't, but it's just funny how quickly there is a new thing. Much like Warhammer. Marcin, any initial thoughts about Henry Cavill and Space Marine on Amazon Prime? I have confidence. Marcin. I'm not sure what they're going to do. Like, I don't know what they do story-wise. I know there's rumours out there, but I think it'll be pretty good. I think if Henry Cavill is, you know, producing it, he's a pretty, you know, like he's a, I don't want to say like a stickler for the lore, but he knows what it should be like, so fingers crossed, basically. Marcin, I am wondering if they will truly make it. I think it's going to be made. I really do think it's going to be made, but I think it might be a couple of years before we see it or anything else about it. They're probably keeping it under wraps. I know you had they did the initial Warhammer posts, it must have been a year or two ago now, where they mentioned Henry Cavill and the whole universe and stuff, but I think we're probably another couple of years away before we see anything else. Okay, we need a backpack. But yeah, I have faith that it'll be good. It just makes me wonder what kind of budget they're going to have for it, you know. But I guess we'll see. You too as well, Chris. Yeah, I think most people are confident, but we don't know till we know, do we really? Till we see like a trailer or anything else about it, we're not gonna know. Because I personally was a little bit let down by Amazon's Rings of Power. That let me down, and yeah, but I'm hoping with this Warhammer series that things are gonna go smoothly. Cavill's wounded from, yeah, that is a very good point as well, Chris. I did see that the other day, so if anything that's going to be more of a setback, because his projects that he's got lined up before the Warhammer one are going to be pushed back, so yeah, you know, not great. There we go, another fiddly bit gone. Still, yeah, very much looking forward to it though. It's funny how much more popular Warhammer has got in the past few years. It's kind of blown up. I know it was it was always fairly popular, but now it's like getting that almost mainstream element behind it. And there's the other fiddly bit. It's probably the most time-consuming part of the build so far, or these Marines, is just tidying up the backpack. Everything else is straightforward. Yeah, so we're nearly on 4. Quick maths, that. Again, I'm not really customizing these guys too much, because I feel like with the Horus Heresy stuff, there's so many rank and file Marines that giving them all a personality is just gonna make them more time consuming to paint. Not so bad in like 40k, I think you can give your models a bit more personality, but Heresy, there's gonna be thousands of Marines. Oh wow, hope he gets better. First I heard about it, both Highlander and the injury. Yeah, I've heard about Highlander for a while. I'm not really familiar with it, but I'll probably watch it when it comes out. And yeah, the injury is a bit devastating because that's just going to push things back. But hopefully, you know, it's not bad injury. Okay. Look, we have a nice little row of Space Marines. We're nearly halfway. Let's go for 38, 39. I'm looking forward to assembling the heroes. I do think they look really cool. But we'll finish this first, we won't distract ourselves. 38, 39. Martin, Rings of Power were horrible, but yeah, Warhammer 40k somehow made it to the front. Guys really need sometimes this dark filled with brotherhood and testosterone world. Well, the main thing I find is I want that grimdark element to it. You know, I want it to be dark sci-fi. And as long as they get that, I think it's going to be pretty good. You know, as long as they've got that and there's good acting and everything and a good script, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think Rings of Power missed... Well, I mean, I don't know how they got it so wrong, to be fair. I think just throwing money at stuff shows that that's not going to solve anything, especially if you've got a bad script. So it's just a bit of a shame. But yeah, wrote that one off. Guess we'll just have to wait and see what the next Lord of the Rings based project is. So yeah, but you know, confidence in this 40k one, especially with Cavill at the helm. Let's see, Chris, current project is 3D printed Warlord Titan from Station Forge. Looks more like Imperator class cathedral on top of it, but smaller. Yeah, I think you may have brought this up last time, Chris, unless I'm getting mistaken, but it is a very cool sounding project. I know during our first stream we were talking about Titans a lot. I know I mentioned Eric's Titan, Eric's Hobby Workshop, like 7-foot Titan, which is crazy. It's funny, that's one of the things I would like to paint at some point as a Titan. But you know, let's not stack up the project before you've even finished one. Oh, I keep doing that. I keep putting a little bit of glue on there, but then finding out that I've missed a bit with the hobby knife. It's a little bit annoying. There we go. Right. Okay, let's go for our fifth then. I think it's just going to be the same again, isn't it? We'll do all these Marines. I think we're going to do a unit of 10 with just bolt guns, and then at some point in the future I'm probably going to do another unit of 10 with the disintegrator rifles. So we go back to pose 1 and go from there. Pose 1 was 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Oh no. 1 and 2. Sorry, I'm confusing myself because I've done the test marine. I can't remember which sprue I took out. So maybe we'll skip that. Listen, Chris spoke about one thing. I think the price of GW models is a bit ridiculous, and now there's a lot of players that have 3D printed models. Yeah, I think Marcin, that's understandable. I think because of prices in general for things going up, people just, like, some people can't afford it. So moving to 3D is just going to be one of those things, you know. Sorry, my mind is in 2 places at once. I'm thinking which one of these, which part I need next, and what to say about 3D models. This 10 and 11. I don't have anything against 3D at all. I feel like 3D is really good because you can sort of supplement models you have. Unfortunately, I don't have access to a 3D printer, so I can't really do that. I can buy stuff, but I can't do it myself. But yeah, you know, I've seen some really cool things like Space Marines with custom pads and custom heads and everything, so I'm for it. Anything that gives you that extra level of customization. In fact, I will show you guys something while you are here. I just managed to knock something off. Luckily, he is okay. Okay, what I was going to show you. Let's see, for resin, they have been recast as... Yeah, I've seen some of them. The only thing that I find ropey is not knowing what's in the resin. So if you've got to do trimming and sanding and everything, that's the only thing that makes me a bit twitchy. But yeah, going back to customization, I don't know if you guys have seen this. I did post about it on Instagram, but I have been talking to Tom from Impatient Tabletop, and he sent me a couple of transfers. So what Tom does is he prints off custom transfers. So he gave me a bunch of ones for the throne room, which is really good because at the moment I find that I need to go on eBay and just try and pick out the transfers with the most Aquillas on because I go through them. And what Tom has done, the light's probably really bad, is he's printed me a bunch of white Aquillas. Let me show you the black ones, actually they'll come out better. He has he has printed me a bunch of Aquillas, which I'm going to use on the project. And I like them so much that I bought, with my own money, some Iron Snakes transfers. because I've kind of been fascinated with them at the moment. So I picked some up, and I did do a test model for them as well. There we go. I probably cracked him out last stream, but I done a sort of test model. Again, forgive me that the focus on this thing isn't great. But yeah, just since we're on the subject of customization there, I'm going to put him there. It's worth it. So yeah, Impatient Tabletop. I know that's a bit of a plug, but I like it and I think it's cool. It's not like an advert for some rubbish mobile game that you're never going to play. And I get loads of those. When I watch stuff on YouTube, I always get like a 20-second or 30-second advert about some really bad mobile game that I'm never going to touch. And I wouldn't recommend it to anyone either. Let's see then. Yeah, Chris agrees. Jim, for Resin, they have been recast as a thing. You can't argue with, like, you know, stuff that you can get for the price. But yeah, it's just how comfortable you are with the resin and stuff. Or at least for me. I know some people have no problem, which is absolutely fine. It's just I'm a bit of a like, oh, it's gonna get in me lungs. There is more and more, you know, when it comes to 3D, there's a lot of cool designs that people are making themselves. And some of them, I don't know if you guys are familiar with was it the Dantioch model going around? There was a third-party looking Dantioch model. Well, it wasn't third-party looking, actually, that's the problem. Is it looked like an official model, and I think maybe like Valrak covered it on his stream. That it looked the business, and bids on eBay got up to a couple of £100, I think, for it. So, you know, there's definitely some cool stuff out there that looks the part and clearly fits in with the aesthetic of Horus Heresy in 40k. Where are we? What were we going to do? We were going to start pose 2, so 10 and 11. 10 and 11. Yeah, we're really getting there now, so we're nearly halfway. That's 11, and that's 10. Yeah, thanks for joining me as well, guys. I thought that today was going to be a bit more of a quiet day, to be fair. And for the first half an hour, I was mainly just talking to myself. So it's nice to have some company in chat. I talk to myself a lot when I'm on my own, and then struggle to do it when I'm streaming. This chest piece together. I wonder what the average time it takes to assemble a Space Marine is. There's got to be people out there that can do this very quickly. Surely. Okay, let's go for the legs. That was 10 and 11, so we need 12 and 13. Let's not get confused. We haven't made a mistake so far, so let's not make one now. Okay, so 2021, no, not 2021, 12, 13. How do you think I I should base these. Like, what theme should I go for? I love basing. I mentioned earlier that I'm a big fan of basing, but sometimes I don't know what to go for. I don't always want to go for like the run-of-the-mill brown bass heavy metal style. As cool as it is, sometimes I want them to have a little bit of their own flair. For demons, I go Nurgle, love painting them. Do you use the contrast paints, Chris? Are you one of those people? Because I know that a lot of Nurgle models are quite flashy, so I've seen some quite cool effects produced fairly quickly with contrast paints. Or do you go in and just sort of highlight and highlight? It must be satisfying to paint either way. Yeah, it's quick, especially if you've got a whole army to do. Getting the washes in there, and the contrast is probably for the best. Okie dokie. Not one sticky super glue finger where it shouldn't be. We've got a high success rate at the moment. A few times in the past I've gone to buy second-hand miniatures and changed my mind when I see the sticky fingerprints. And I know that's not always the person's fault, but I can't deal with painting over like gluey finger bits. I'm a bit of a snob. That's what I am. I'm a snob. Okay, let's go back to, which one was this now? That striding forward. Striding forward. So we need to go back to, that was this one. And he needs 40. Yeah, there we go. I feel like when it comes to using that contrast paint, Chris, it's great with organic substances like surfaces. It's I feel like it doesn't work as well sometimes with like Space Marine armor. But any fleshy stuff looks really good, like Tyranids and Nurgle. It does its magic there. Okay. Had a bit of a first during our last stream. As I can see, you guys were obviously there, but we had first channel members, courtesy of Kyle. That was. Yeah, I was very impressed by that. I wasn't expecting it, to be fair. So now I've got my own little community of green names. It's good because this is like, you know, obviously this is not my job, putting together figures and painting figures, but the small amount that I get from YouTube and TikTok, believe it or not, and Patreon, goes towards, not this is my own doing, but it goes towards the project. So it's cool to have that little bit to use, basically, because there's always paints and stuff that need to be got, so it helps us get to where we need to be, which is very cool. So thank you. Let's get a head and a base. Hey, double digits. Hitting them double digits. Last stream was also consistently double digits, which I was very impressed about too. So not only were there channel members, there was double digits. Because apparently, when you run a stream, a lot of people just stream to no one because it's quite hard to get an audience. So the fact that we were in them double digits for like 2 hours is very impressive. So thank you to you guys for sticking around. Okay, let's get this one on a base. Jim, I think it will also I think it will also pick up Nurgle Death Guard, but I think oh, you will, look at me. I think I will also pick up Nurgle / Death Guard, but I think I will also paint up all of the Primarchs eventually. I have Fulgrim and I have painted Mortarion, I just need the others. That's a pretty good decision. The Primarchs are very cool models. I know that Fulgrim is very impressive, and there's apparently quite a few ways that you can, like, customization options in terms of, like, he's got a few faces and stuff. So, yeah, that'll look good. On Space Marines, I use it as a base color, then soft dry brush over it. I still got old yellow washes from GW with the blue lid. 20 pots to go. You're hoarding those pots with the blue lids. I think I've got one of those, and it's a flesh wash, I think. So that's impressive. That's very impressive, Chris. But then, as you mentioned earlier, if you started the hobby, back when, I gather that you managed to hold on to a few of those. I only got mine buying bits and bobs off of eBay. Also, that seems like a good method. Completely overlooked that too. Got distracted by ye old school blue pots. I did. I feel like they had more flavour back then, the pots and the names of the colours and everything. Center of the base. Center enough. Hey Silver, hello there, what you painting? Well Silver, we are not painting anything today, we are just building some Space Marines. I think when you were there last stream, I mentioned about having this with some dust on it. I've cleaned the dust off, and we're going to try and build 10 of these Space Marines, just so I can say that, yeah, I've started the box set. And it gives me a break from the throne, so that's a benefit too. Jim Ham, Fulgrim has 4 faces, Mortarion has 2 very similar faces, but his arms can be built either way. Well, it's a positive to see that sort of trajectory for the Primarchs, because I know Mortarion was he the second or first? Maybe the first, if I'm right. Him only having 2 face options, it's good that Fulgrim now has 4, because you would hope that as the next Primarchs come out, because inevitably there will be more Primarchs, that there'll be sort of customization options. Like, even if it's little things, it's nice that everyone doesn't have exactly the same. So that's a positive sign, at least. Ah, I used to work in a retail store that had GW. That's cool. Because, again, like, getting hold of those blue pot paints is just getting harder and harder and harder. It's kind of like a little, for me, my one is like a little trophy that I have sat on my paint shelf. I'm not sure whether I'll ever use it, but I think it's quite cool to have. Okay, let's go back to this Marine. What did we figure? That was this guy again. So we need 1415. I'm looking forward to having these painted. It's kind of it's giving me a little bit of a boost seeing them assembled. And now if we can get them painted, obviously that won't be today, but in the near future if we can get them painted, that will be very impressive. I'm sure that some of you guys are more interested in the actual diorama build than Space Marine building, because I know you can watch like 1,000 people build Space Marines. So we will be going back to. Is that the right one? Sorry, guys. I'm just thinking here. Bear with me 1 minute. 14, 15. Down. I think I may have made my first mistake. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? Let's take a Silver. I'm missing 3 Primarchs, Magnus, Fulgrim and Gilliman. Are you planning on, do you collect the Primarchs? Are you going to try and get a whole set? What are you saying there, Chris? Amazing, some of those old paints are still good, not dried out. I know that the one I have is still in, still liquid form at least. I don't know how far it's separated. I'm sure with some shaking it would probably come back to life. But again, I don't want to use it for now. Right, let me try and figure out how I've done this one wrong. Because so far we haven't made a mistake, but I've got to this one and I've realized that I've done something wrong. That arm is not creased enough. 14. Was that 14? It wasn't. I cut the wrong one off. I made my first mistake. Well, at least it's not glued down, so it's not the end of the world. But I'm not sure how I managed to do that. Probably all this Primarch talk, I think. Since we're on the subject of Primarchs, I did hear online that, again, I think this was a Valrak thing, is that Gilliman might be getting a new miniature for his Primarch, which will be cool. But also I need the old one because the old one is going to have some of the pieces that I need for the Emperor conversion that we're going to have on the throne. So I need to make sure I get hold of that old one before any potential new ones arrive on the scene. Doing the tilt there as I stick this arm on. Okay, that looks better. That's what we needed. Let's see, Silver, yes, I'm going to get all of them, 30k and 40k. So, are you going to get the old ones? Because again, Silver, I know that, like, Horace got the new miniature treatment, didn't he? Because there is the Horace, is it Ascended? With all the bones and dead Marines. So, are you going to get the old ones, or are you going to have both of the Horace miniatures? Okay, let's finish this 5th one off then. So, I should have showed you guys, when we were talking about the 3D prints, I did actually go on eBay and I bought some 3D prints specifically for these Marines. what I did was I found some really nice spiked pauldrons. So I'm going to save them. I do want to show you guys, I'll bring them up at some point so you guys can see. But I think I'll probably use them on the disintegrators, because they do look really cool. But again, it's like, I feel like I'm holding off till I find the right miniatures, so maybe we just stick them on the disintegrators. Both. Well, fair play to you, especially if you're going to paint them all up as well, so it's really cool. I'm sure there is a portion of people who just get the Primark miniatures. You can imagine them all on display. Very nice. Okay, let's get a gun. No. Actually, we're not. We are putting those on and we're getting another backpack. That's the last backpack from this sprue. But we need all the other Primarks first, damn Ultramarines and their models and refreshes. I think that sentiment is making the rounds at the moment, especially after all those miniatures got shown off for 40k Ultramarines. Sicarius, Victrix, and what was the last one? No. Calgar, that's it. I think they look really cool, but I feel like some other factions and chapters should get some stuff. I did mention too how that banner is definitely going to end up in the throne room, so you will be seeing that. Even if I end up changing it a little bit. When I have quite a few banners dotted around, there has been the suggestion that maybe I make it a community thing. So get a PO box and see if you guys out there want to paint up any banners to be featured. So I feel like that's something we might sort out in the future for any of those who want to take part. Let's see, Chris. I printed some servitors that are cleaning up and oiling the deck of my Titan. I need to keep running for a FUI 1000Y? FUW 1000Y? Sorry Chris, you lost me at that end bit, but that seems like a good use of a printer. I wouldn't mind something like that for the throne room, some cleaning servitors. Because you guys know we're using the, I can't remember who guessed it the other day, but we're using the sort of meme servitor. We're going to use the one from Helbrecht. The one with the little cleaning rag in his hand. He's going to be doing his job in the throne room. Ah, keep it running for 1,000 years. See, that's the brain not working again. Okay. So, we are just about at the halfway mark. Not sure how long we've been streaming for. It feels like quite a bit. Yeah, it is quite a bit. It's 2 hours and a quarter. And we've made 5 Space Marines. Is that good? I'm not sure. How do you guys fare when it comes to building Space Marines? Are you quicker at it than I am? Ooh, I just realised that's the commander's backpack. Well, whether this guy likes it or not, he's going to end up being a commander of some kind, so... Well, that'll do. Ba-bum. Ooh. I'll build combat patrol forces for all the chapters, so 18 Primarchs plus the Ascended ones and all 40k as they come out. Well, that's really cool, Silver. It's cool. It sounds like you've set yourself a challenge there for sure. But that's very impressive. Titan Forge has those cool. That's it. Titan Forge. Titan Forge. Probably going to end up with some different like 3D stuff too, just to give it some uniqueness. And I feel like you can't deny at the moment with all the bits that are out there that, you know, some of them are really cool. It's come a long way, 3D printing for sure. Okay, what do we need here? Is that gun gonna be 42? Not that one. We still got a spare arm that we got to make sure we don't lose, because I managed to cut it off by accident. So we needed 42. See, this is the issue now. I'm getting a wee bit confused. 16 is what we need. 16 is what we need. Okay, got there eventually. Okay. So this will be our 6th Marine, which is something. I'd like to say accomplishment, but I'm not sure if building 6 Marines in 2¼ hours is an accomplishment. Silver, it takes me all day to build a box of 10 clipping, cleaning, mold lines and dry fitting them, gluing. Okay, well, that gives me a little bit of a reassurance that maybe I'm going a bit quicker than average, but maybe I'm not doing them to the same skill level as yourself, Silver. Probably leaving a bit of sprue here and there. But again, as long as it's not anything that's too egregious that can be seen, you know, not too bothered. Okay, let's get base. I think after having done this and, you know, completed a few Marines, I think we're going to be refreshed to do some more throne work. I'm going to bring up a few more pieces too to show you guys, because I got loads of little gribbly bits like cogitators and stuff that I want to show off. I think I might have put them in a video a long time ago, but I'll show you on the stream. Okay, so now we got start on. It was 3 again, so 18, 19. See me gradually getting more and more confused. Oh, there we go. 18 and 20. A chap I follow on Instagram called Unrelenting Brush done a challenge with this kit, and he assembled and painted it in 24 hours, which I thought was crazy. And he got it all done. He did. It was all for charity as well, which is a very nice touch. But yeah, I can't even imagine that. I think I would just need a timeout, a huge timeout. Depends on the models whether they need magnetizing. Yeah, that does make sense. I personally, again, I'm sure you guys are well aware by now, but I don't play, so I don't bother magnetizing. I just do what looks cool. If it looks cool, I'll do it. But yeah, I can imagine you'd have to factor that in. Let's see, I paint my gaming miniatures to competition level and the characters and centerpieces to golden demon level, so many armies take a while to paint. Well, Silver, the thing is, I can appreciate that. Part of me wants to do that with every miniature. Like, I can't even paint to that standard, you know, I can't paint to an incredibly high standard, but part of me wants to pick out every detail in every miniature, and I just know that if I do that, I'll be there for months. So I'm trying not to do it, basically. I probably do spend on average a bit too much time on figures, on painting miniatures, instead of just calling them done. But then I can appreciate why you do it, because you have some very impressive looking miniatures when you're finished. So kudos to you. You don't want to paint a throne room, do you? We could just live stream you painting my throne to Golden Demon standard. Let's see, Jim, I don't play either, but I bought the kit, so my knights will be able to use all the guns. That's fair enough, Jim, I can understand that too. I can understand that too. Okay, let's go for the gun first on this guy. At least we can call another one mostly done. Chris, I only paint and build what I think is cool. I don't play anymore. That's fair enough too. I mean, that's mainly if I wasn't doing the project. That's probably what I would be doing, is just picking things out that I think are cool. I mean, essentially that's what my pile of shame is made out of, is just models that I think are cool. It's quite nice because I can just build things by rule of cool. I don't need to use the best loadout or whatever. And it doesn't always need to make sense, you know. It doesn't always need to be lore accurate. Nice. There we go. Let him dry a little bit more. Let's see, my Mortarion is 200 hours of painting and I still need to paint the base and Nurglings. 200 hours of painting, wow. That must look pretty phenomenal. That is impressive. I can't think of any time I've ever painted anything for 200 hours. Like, I know not in one stretch, obviously, but I don't think, you know, all of my time is the project mostly, so yeah, that's got like probably a couple of thousand hours, but not painting one miniature for that long. The little squad is developing nicely over here. Oof, yeah. I think everyone feels that. 200 hours is very impressive. and still going, still a base to do. That would be the part that I would be looking forward to the most, is just painting the base. In fact, I can safely say with some models that I've painted, I've kind of like half done them and then decided to work on the base. That's how much I like basing things. I'm a base nerd. Okay. We need some legs. So we need 20 and 21. 20 and 21. Apologies for when I quiet down, it's me trying to work out everything in my head. So far, we've only made one mistake. I skip around from army to army so I don't get burnt out. I think that's a good thing to do, Silver. I'm learning that very slowly, that is the thing to do. Hence why I'm working on these Space Marines today instead of working on the project, because I enjoy working on it, but I don't want to get burnt out by it. Especially not when I've committed so much time to it, you know. I don't want to give up on it. So yeah, today is a Space Marine stream, and then on Sunday evening we'll hang out and we'll do another throne painting stream, because I've got quite a few things to do. I've also got to roll some more green stuff cables, because last time we were talking about how, let me just grab them. Last time we were talking about how on this throne that I built, I feel like we need something to go in between here, this little gap. There is a golden arch that I painted up somewhere. Here we go. Stretch cam. There is this little golden arch. God, I'm holding that poorly. That goes in between, so it kind of sits. In there, but I feel like there's a lot of empty space there, and I'm going to fill it with some cables and beef it out a bit more, I think. So we'll do that on the next stream too. Today's just like a little sort of palette cleanser. Okay, so let's get these shoulder. No, we'll get head on this one first, and then some shoulder pads. I do find it funny that they number the heads, and they're all Mark II heads that look the same, apart from like two, one of which being the commander's head, the bear head, and the one with the little crest on the top. Okay, looking good. We'll get, we need some arms. 22 and 23. 22. You would have thought that by now, at least, I'd start memorizing some of them. 22, 23. But that hasn't quite happened yet. Let's see, Jim, I've ended up creating an Excel document of my purchases next to a spreadsheet of the models in boxes built and painted. I've also made sure to alternate them. Well, that's very impressive too. That must have taken some time. And if you have anything like I have when it comes to backlog, that must have been an undertaking. Do you know, recently, I'd say over the past half a year, it's not so much been miniatures for me, like basic Space Marines, it's been more scenery. I found that a lot of the kits I've been getting, not new, have just been kits from eBay, like old scenery pieces that you can't get anymore. So I got 2 Aquila Landers now, and what else have I got? I got that big broken Aquila, the stone one. I just got to figure out what I want to do with all these. Obviously they're going to be in another terrain, scenery related project, but I just haven't decided what yet. I have alternate my Warhammer stuff with my Conquest stuff. Oh, you've done Conquest as well. I know a lot of people have done Conquest. Which is great if you wanted any of those units, because I think you could pick them up for much cheaper than GW was asking in the shop. I know that myself, I bought quite a few shipping containers, like the Munitorum containers, I think they're called. Just because they were at one stage cheaper than how much you'd have to pay new. In fact, I probably have double digits for those containers. And I want to paint them up, they are very cool. I see a lot of people who use them for like backdrops on photos over on Instagram. I like all the weathering effects on them too. Let's put some shoulder pads on. Still got the lead plastic ogres army from the old times. That's cool. That was one of my I'd say they were one of my favorites, even though I'm not a big Old World fan. If I was going to choose a faction, it'd either be Empire or Ogre Kingdoms. I think an early White Dwarf, one of the earlier White Dwarfs that I got, was showcasing when Ogre Kingdoms dropped as its own army. And I always remember being impressed by that as a kid. Like the Man-Eaters, I think they had a ninja one with a wooden staff, who I thought was equally as cool as it was goofy. Let's see, Jim, not too long as when started, just needed an update with purchases. I have bought 149 Warhammer models, 156 Conquest models, 99 Conquest painted. It sounds like you're doing a good job. It sounds like you're pretty consistent when it comes to building and painting stuff up. Not to mention cataloguing it. We nearly have number 6. Yeah, he is very cool, Chris. I'm not surprised. And the good news is that since they have relaunched the old world, I'm sure at some stage they'll have, some new miniatures added. And if they follow the same aesthetic as the older ones, it's going to be cool. As a bit of a side note, I used to like the fortified mana that they sold. I'm pretty sure it's back in the shop now for the old world. But I thought that was a very impressive kit. Never ever bought it because I didn't really buy any fantasy stuff at the time. But yeah, did always enjoy looking at it and seeing it in the shop. This is turning out to be the longest stream we've done so far. Again, I know it's a little bit more chill than the Golden Throne ones, and it is in the middle of the day. But still good to have you guys with me. I probably would have moved on to something else by now, and by something else I mean nothing if I was on my own. I'd be like, ooh, let's have a little look at what's on Instagram and get sidetracked. Okay, that's going to be number 6 done now. Right. So, let's go for 7. If I'm honest, I'm not sure we're going to actually manage to get 10 done. But either way, we'll get this guy done and then decide from there. So what do we need? We've got his arm. We need to glue that on first, then we'll do the gun. Let's see. Spreadsheet helps very much keep track, especially since I don't want to double up on the kits. Yeah, it sounds like a very effective method of keeping track. Probably do with something like that myself, but I don't think I'm going to put the effort in like you. I'm probably lazier than you, I'll be honest. Okay, there we go. That's looking good. I'm going to let him dry. Will I start one more? I also got the STL files from Warhammer Total War, printed some of the demons from them, including the Nurgle Toads. That's pretty awesome. Now we're getting to that stage where if you see something in a Warhammer game, you can get the file for it. I like that. I do like that. One of the things I thought about recently from Space Marine 2 is, I know they made the Titus model, but I wonder why they just didn't do the squad of the 3 of them and make like a model for each. I also thought, between you and me, that the Titus model that Games Workshop done was a little bit uninspired. You know, he's got a bit of an awkward pose as well. He's sort of running with his chainsword up and his gun down, and yeah, I just thought maybe it could have looked a little bit cooler than that, but might just be me. Let's get it. Okay. Well, I'm glad we've made some progress today. And I'll probably undercoat these. Maybe. No, I won't, because it's raining now. It was sunny about an hour ago, and now it's raining. But I'm going to undercoat these fairly soon, and then maybe at some stage in the future we'll do another stream where we give them a bit of paint. Let's get a gun for you. 24. Oh, it's down here. The dude bringing out the STL files was in court with Games Workshop. He lost. I didn't sell them. Oof, yeah, well, there is that element, isn't there? That's the only thing when it comes to STL files, because I'm pretty sure G-Dubs is quick at taking them down. And it's funny, I do understand to a degree that you know, when it's your IP, there's people who will make like slop, I guess. So I do understand why they have to be on it, but there are some people out there that make phenomenal like files and they do phenomenal designs. And for the most part, you can get them. You know, you can find a way to get them, can't you? So. Well, nice. And then there's Zorp who made their own battle report with them. Yeah, I did see that. I haven't watched the battle report again because I don't play. But that is very cool. I did see the little bunkers from Dawn of War. Okay, there's a gun. Yeah, because we're gonna try and sort out a battle report on the throne, on the Golden Throne too. Again, that is a ways off, but I would like us to do that, just to give those of you who do enjoy playing the game something interesting to watch. Well, you're still not stuck down yet. Didn't really give that enough time to cure. Okay, that's going to be a pain. I'm going to have to take you off. And let's put the gun on first and then I'll stick him to the base. I've got a little bit impatient with this one, I think. I also think I might have. No. I thought for a second that I managed to use the wrong gun. Okay. Don't want to make any mistakes this close to the end. I think what we'll do, guys, is I'll probably build this one and then I think I might call it a day for this stream. But if you are keen, we're going to do a stream on Sunday evening. So if you want to drop back, but we'll be working on the throne. So if you're keen to see how we'll get on with that, then swing by. Okay, let's put you back on the base now. Make sure everything checks out, make sure it doesn't look bad. It's funny, I'm already feeling like I'm in the mood to paint again instead of do this. That's all it took. It was 7 Marines and I'm already willing to work on the throne again. Okay, head and pauldrons. Chris, my favourite type of base is Mars oxidized stones with oxidized stones mixed in. Yeah, that is cool. I can sorry. I like how that looks too. Basically, I like the idea of using pigment powders now. I got some liquid pigment to make everything look nice and dusty, so if I go for a Mars base or like a kind of, you know, like rusty base, it really adds that extra level. We need pauldrons. Good choice though, Chris. I'll just use another helmet head. I don't think I'm going to use any bare ones. We'll use some bare heads next time. Far enough on the base? Now you are. Just trim these up. Jim, just thinking about the throne, you could maybe make a big golden halo, maybe electric blue wires leading to it. That is a good idea, actually, Jim. I know for a fact one of the things I'm going to be doing is using the... basically, I've got this Age of Sigmar statue, this kind of depiction of Sigmar, and it's got this piece which is like a big iron halo looking thing. So I'm definitely planning on using that because I'm going to attach all those, all those additional wires basically to the throne, and then I'm going to slot that in as well, just to bulk it out a little bit more. But again, we'll work on that on Sunday because I'll roll some wires, do some painting. We'll do a couple of different things basically. Jim, sorry, Chris, missed you out. I use Green Stuff World's pigments. Okay, I haven't used them in the past. But the ones that I get on quite well with are AK ones. So, yeah, but I'm sure they will work relatively the same. The liquid pigment at the moment I'm preferring more than the actual pigment powder because you can kind of just like dot it in and it goes to all the recesses instead of using the powder and then the fixer on top. Jim, I need to get some pigment powders, only have texture paste. Texture paste is good too, but pigment powders, you can use a variety of different ones, like darker or lighter leading up, and they look really good, they do. Some AK2, yeah, it's just the ones that I ended up picking up first, to be fair, Chris. Yeah, I've just stuck with them. Some strobe lights would be funny. Well, again, we are definitely going to keep some LED lights, or get some LED lights for it, but I'm not crossing that bridge till further on. I know roughly where they're going to go, but aside from that, I haven't done any more planning. It'll enable us to get some atmospheric shots, and maybe when we do a battle report, it'll look quite cool too. We're so nearly done with this one. Let's get that last backpack in. Last two fiddly bits. So I know we didn't quite get to 10, but I think 7 Marines is pretty good. Yeah, so I'm happy we've made a dent at least. Yeah, I'd say, Chris, it's going a little bit faster. I had a little hiccup a second ago, but we are a little bit faster than when we started. I definitely think it'll be easier when we work on the next sprue, because the only thing that I think has thrown me off slightly is there's only 9 on these two because I've done the test marine a while ago, so I think I just slightly confused myself looking back at which pose I was working on. So yeah, the next ones I think will probably fly through. Let's get that head on. There we go. Let him try. Fuon, good morning, Fuon. I think you've caught us right at the end of the stream, though. You have. We made 7. I've held up 8, haven't I? We've made 7 Space Marines today. Our usual thing is working on the Golden Throne diorama, but for today, we're doing a little bit of a palette cleanser and making some Marines. And yeah, I think... What's this? Almost Naked Custodes, yeah. Well, we might have that. Not as a permanent thing, but we might 3D print some of the meme ones. Alright. Well, guys, I think we're going to call it there for today. We've done 7 Space Marines, and yeah, we've made a dent anyway, so I think maybe in the future, when we do some other streams, I might document the journey of getting these to a stage where they're painted. And again, it's like I always say, it's giving me an excuse to get them done, so, you know, the streaming is a benefit. But yeah, on Sunday, I think we're going to kick off at 7:30 again for throwing stuff. I'll put a post up on social media about it nearer the time, but hopefully, if any of you guys are available then, we will we'll do some more hobbying. Nice, I recently built one of those too. Not quite my style, but it's very lovely. Oh damn, it's ending already. Yeah, I'm very sorry, Fuon. We've been streaming for about, what have we been streaming for? 3 hours. 3 hours. We stream fairly regularly, so if you're interested in catching the next one and you're not subscribed, that'll help you. And yeah, it'll be different next time. It'll be Golden Throne diorama related stuff. But if you're up for it, you know, swing by. Chris, yeah, Chris always coming in with a reminder. It's very useful. You know, do all the YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, help the algorithm. You know, it helps the channel, helps get more viewers and everything. So yeah, you know, if that tickles any of your fancy, then go ahead and press the buttons. Other than that, you know, thank you very much, guys. You'll be there. Good to see you. Well, yeah, it'll be good to see you there, Chris. Jim Hammer, try 3 hours. I know it doesn't feel like 3 hours, but my stomach is telling me it's 3 hours. All right then, guys. I really appreciate you hanging around with me today, and I will see you guys on Sunday. This is where I get up and move over and press the button because I don't have an automatic button to stop the stream. But thank you very much, guys.